Hi, I'm Tony Bowen and welcome to my Corn Country Rails. Well, I do have to apologize. This video was supposed to come out in May, but because of the end of my school year being so crazy, I didn't get a chance to get it done until now. So I had a switch on my layout that needed to be replaced. Unfortunately, the points on it just wore out. It lost the spring, and so figured it was time to get it replaced to make operating a whole lot easier for everyone. So to pull up the old switch, I wet down the area so the ballast would get nice and loose. And so I was able to pull up the old switch and was able to drop the new switch right in its place. So in this area, I also wanted to install a hill brake. The track coming down into this industry is on a hill, and I have cars that were constantly rolling, and I had seen an article where somebody had used a choke line that you would use like on a lawnmower to make a hill brake, and I thought that sounds like a great idea. So I got out the drill, drilled myself a hole where the hill brake knob would go, and then a hole between the track where the line would come up to essentially stop the cars from rolling into the industry. The problem I ran into is the choke line was a heavy duty steel, and I really wanted the light duty since we're only stopping N-scale cars, and Amazon did not have the light duty, so they sent me the heavy duty one, so I had to make do with that one. I also was not going very far, just from the fascia in about 9 inches to where it would pop up between the tracks to stop the cars, so I had a lot that I ended up trimming off. Now with this heavy duty choke line, there was plenty of steel rod that I had to cut off, and I thought it'd be great if I could trim off just enough where it could stop the car at the axle until I pushed the knob and ended up derailing the car. So I thought that's not going to work. So how about one that works more as like a bumper? And so I marked the line there and trimmed it. By the time I was done, it was just a short piece of the rod that actually came up through the benchwork and stopped the cars. I also painted it yellow, thinking it would be very visible so people didn't snag their hands across it. So now with the hill brake installed, it was time to go back and airbrush the track so it has the weathered look to it, and then ballast it. I always like to just lay a piece of 1-inch tape across the points of a switch, and then I can come back in time and just use a fine paintbrush and paint the sides of the rail. That way I'm not damaging any of the electrical conductivity that travels through the points. So I use the airbrush and used rail tie brown to paint the rails and the track. And then once everything is thoroughly dry, I pull the tape off and then clean the rail heads. For the ballast, I'm using fine cinders, and I usually just kind of spoon a little bit out between the rails and that, and then brush it away, trying to avoid any of the moving parts to have too much ballast there. And then I just kind of brush it away and kind of give it a nice look before I go ahead and add the glue mixture. The method I use is alcohol, that I drop onto the ballast, and then a 50-50 water and Elmer's white glue mixture, and essentially the alcohol. I do that coat first, just dropping it through the ballast, and then once I come back with the other dropper with the 50-50 water and glue, it just kind of spreads right out, and then within 24 hours the stuff is dried rock hard. Clean up the rail heads, clean up the points and that, and make sure everything's in working order, and it's good to go. So it is the next day. I've already cleaned the track and made sure the hill brake is still working. So now let's get ready to test this out by setting some cars off. Those first 3 cars will set out. There's the switch there that we'll back into. That goes down the hill to where our hill brake is. All right, we'll split our train right there, and we are definitely in the siding, which is a good thing. We've uncoupled from our train. And we'll throw the switch. And then we'll back in and rest up against the hill brake. All right, we'll get ready to uncouple from our power. Ready to uncouple from our power. The cars are probably going to roll right into that brake. There we go. Pretty awesome. So, it'll do a really good job for holding cars up there when I don't have room or don't need them in this area. So hope you enjoyed this video of how I installed the hill brake. And as always, thanks for watching and happy railroading to you. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.